it. Did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip Hop Group Tag Team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop. Shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop. Shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today.
Welcome back to another episode of Watching the Game. I'm not sure why Idrees is fascinated with Scoop. There it is. But nevertheless, we're back for another episode. I'm your host, Odeh, here with Idrees and Yunis. Yeah, I think we're gonna. What do we have for today, guys?
The Super Bowl is set because Matt LaFraud is LaFraud. And he does not put the ball in the hands of Aaron Rodgers, and he got exactly what he deserved for not doing that.
There's no shot he actually expected the defense to get a stop. Like, there's no way. Like, my thing is, you're gonna have to get a stop regardless, right? Because if you do score on that you do score on that fourth down, your defense still has to hold to at least force it to overtime, right? So you might as well go for it, and then if you don't get it, they're backed up inside the 10.
Yeah,
so I don't know why.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. But are we also forgetting that Aaron Rodgers had, I'm not going to say wide open, but he had field in front of him to run.
He was scared.
The thing about that is, obviously, you should have ran there. Maybe he doesn't score, but he gets closer. But here's the thing about that. As a player, you're making these decisions in literally milliseconds, before you get absolutely knocked out, basically, right?
I understand.
Matt LaFraud, the second they got inside the 10-yard line, he should know, I should go for this, I'm down this much. He should know, he should be deciding that between downs, he should know, right? Sure, you might be oh, he's also the play caller, but, the dude is a coach, that's your job. That tells me he thought about it. He thought about the situation. He even talked about it after. He's like, oh, I have 4 timeouts. Even though they almost gave away the 2-minute warning with the kickoff, right? Mm-hmm. So, he's like, I thought about it, and I was like, I think we can get the ball back. I was like, how? You thought about it? There's nothing that a field goal does for you except, slightly give you a better chance at winning you shouldn't care about winning in regulation. You should just care about getting the tie first and foremost.
Like you said, it's not like the field goal. It's not like they were down by 6 and a field goal only made it cut it down to another field goal.
You still need a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
This in general, this thought process in general, later in the game, especially even earlier, annoys me. But late in the game. If you're going to kick a field goal and the field goal doesn't help you in any way, say the game is 17-13 and there's 7 minutes left, it's 4th and goal at your 8. I would also go for it. You might be oh, there's plenty of time, you might get the ball back. That's not a guarantee. It's never a guarantee. And the thought that, the Packers picked off Tom Brady 3 times, yeah, good job. They picked him off 3 times. But besides that, the Buccaneers have been moving the ball relatively well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they were shutting them down.
I see your standpoint and you're thinking of, they did pick him off 3 times, but if you look at him, I believe all 3 throws were above, I think there were more than 20 yards on the field. Am I correct?
Okay, you had the one to Amos, which was a good play, but also, the ball just hung there. It was really weird. You had the one where they were literally at the 20 or something, and he threw it to Evans. He just missed him, even though Evans was open. It got tipped up to Alexander. And then you had the freak one where he just threw the ball up there, and Alexander picked it off again. You have to think, it's not like they're destroying Brady. They only sacked him once. They were not getting a good pass rush in general.
Even if he had belief in his defense... Even if he had belief in his defense and he knew Brady's weakness, I mean, there was barely any time left. enough for them to get a stop and for Aaron Rodgers to take them down the field, even if they punted.
I'll be fair. There was time. Like they use their timeouts. There's a minute 50 when you should get the ball back. That's plenty of time for Aaron Rodgers. Like, we'll be honest.
Yeah, it is. But again, I mean, as you said, their rush defense and their pass defense was on point, and Tampa Bay could have just ran the clock.
In terms, confidence in defense.
It was a bonehead decision.
Confidence in defense. Are you that confident in the defense that in the first quarter, Leonard Fournette destroyed them when they forgot how to tackle, and then at the end of the first half, oh my God, basically the same thing, Greg Williams 2.0 Mike Pettin did right there, except at least Greg Williams blitzed. Mike Pettin didn't even blitz. He spied Brady, and then he had one safety over the top, but that's it. And Scotty Miller just wrecked Kevin King. What was he expecting to happen?
Kevin King just lost his mind in that first half. I mean,
honestly, there were a lot of bad coaching decisions this game. Like, especially from the Packers. But there were a couple of questionable ones from the Buccaneers. Like, sliding on the kickoff, they could have wasted the 2-minute warning, right? But maybe they did that just because they wanted to throw on first down. Still, they should have just taken the 2-minute warning out of the book. And then when the Packers jumped off sides intentionally, right, they should have declined the penalty.
Yeah, I see your standpoint, and I was gonna say another part to Green Bay's poor decision making. I mean, why do you have a spy on Brady? It's not like he's a mobile quarterback.
He's not gonna run for a 40-yard touchdown.
Like, everyone knows in that situation, take a couple guys, put them deep so that they don't take. So if they throw to the end zone, you have someone there, and then your corners cover the sideline so they can't get closer for a field goal. If they literally did that, Brady probably has to just throw the ball out of bounds, and then he has to actually throw a Hail Mary when all the Packers players are in the end zone, instead of whatever they were doing. It's just like, honestly, Mike Pettin should be fired for that.
I mean, I wouldn't say fired. Yes, he did make poor decisions, but I mean, I don't think he's going to be fired.
But for the Packers, what do you do, man? They've made the NFC Championship back-to-back year. Didn't they make it 4 and 3 years? I mean, 3 and 4. 3 out of 4 years.
Both times last 2 years. They hadn't made it before since like 2015, 2016.
No, 2016 when they got cooked by the Falcons.
Yeah.
They've made it like 4 times in like 7 years, I want to say.
Honestly, it's
because 2015, 2015 blown lead with the Seahawks, and then 2016 got cooked by the Falcons, and then last year cooked by the 49ers. This year, beat by the Buccaneers.
The same way there's all the LaFraud jokes on Twitter, there has to be Aaron Rodgers on Twitter, Matt LaFraud. You know, that's the thing. Like, Aaron Rodgers carried all those Mike McCarthy teams. After the first couple of years, 100%. They weren't good. It was all Rodgers. Like, ridiculous. Like, Rodgers and his receivers were good. Everyone else was garbage. Defense was garbage. McCarthy was garbage.
You look at 2018, I mean, I think they were 3rd in the division.
They were, like, McCarthy that year, like, it took them too long to move on. I think in 2014 or 15 it was, they were 4-6, and like Rodgers just went crazy, ran the table. They still won the division. If Rodgers doesn't go crazy, they probably fired Mike McCarthy that year. Instead,
that run the table went viral.
It's crazy how like the difference between Aaron Rodgers' entire career and his NFC Championship games, right? Because if you look at his passer rating, regular season, playoffs, even the one Super Bowl, all over 100. NFC Championship game rating, 80.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
the real question about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, I mean, do they come up with a solution?
They're winning.
No.
So it's not like it's a bad thing, even though like the only NFC Championship game win was against an injured Jay Cutler and Caleb Haney and Todd Collins. I just wonder, like, if he's
they're
mad.
stuck.
I think he's mad, like, based off his press conference. I think he's just mad at the front office because of what's it called? Like, obviously, most of their draft picks, only 2 of their draft picks actually played in the NFC Championship game, you know? Dylan got a few snaps, and one of their linebackers. Jordan Love didn't contribute. Their 3rd round pick didn't contribute. I know he's injured, but like he wasn't even gonna be a big part of this year anyway. So
their draft strategy made no sense. Although, come to think about it, I do like the AJ Dillon pick just because now Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are free agents. But still,
but that's a running back. Pick at least Jordan Love.
Right, a running back.
It's like the whole problem with me was, listen, Aaron Rodgers just had a solid year, but you know his time is running out. You need to surround. Like, the way Aaron Rodgers took a leap this year, if they went after their needs hard in the offseason, if they drafted a receiver, and then if they shored up the defense, got a new corner, something like that, they probably would have won the Super Bowl. I guess they were like, unless Aaron Rodgers really was just completely fueled by the Jordan Love pick, and he wouldn't have been this good otherwise. But still, this is like
I don't know if that's completely true either.
Planning for the future is a good thing, but if you have a window, the window is way more important than the future.
Yeah, I see your point.
We're talking about 26th, and they could have got T. Higgins or Michael Pittman Jr.
T. Higgins
around
would have
that.
been amazing for them. He was so good this year with like Burrow only playing half the game.
Bums, yeah.
Like, I know Valdez-Scantling and Lazard played decently, but they both had a couple of drops yesterday that were just killers. I don't know, man.
And around their second round pick, they could have got Jeremy Chin, who completely balled out for the Panthers.
Well, even in the first round, they could have picked a corner. They could have gotten Jalen Johnson, which is scary to think.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't.
I mean, who knows the Green Bay with Jordan Love or wherever else he goes.
They botched this draft, man. Do you guys think Rodgers demands a trade?
I don't think he'll demand a trade. I think after the game he was just like, listen, this time, fine, like last year you went future. This year you actually have to consider the present. Re-sign the guys, be aggressive to get better. Because I think this is last year just because of the way his contract is structured. And with Jordan Love, I think this is last year in Green Bay.
I think he was just trying to voice himself and get the word out to the front office. You know, just to make things clear and all.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do that.
He's definitely going to voice his frustrations. And honestly, at this point, if they don't listen to him, and again they go into the draft in the offseason and they don't address any needs, then screw it. Like, demand a trade. He has, in my opinion, he has all the right to demand a trade. Because like you said, a lot of those years with McCarthy, he was the reason they were good. And he was the sole reason they were good.
Alright, let's talk about the Buccaneers, the actual...
Might be enough.
So, Tom Brady... Ugh. Do I have to praise Tom
Listen,
Brady?
I'm going to be honest. Now that he's not on the Patriots... I don't really mind him. I don't really mind seeing him win.
He's becoming.
It's weird.
He's becoming funny on Twitter, and he's trying to get everyone to like him. It's annoying me because I don't care that you're not on the Patriots anymore. We have to deal with you for 20 years. I still don't like you. Like he's becoming a meme god. It's annoying me.
When will he be done? What if he like surprise retires after this year? There's no chance he does. But like, what if he does?
No, he's coming back.
He's the
next year.
LeBron of the NBA. He's going to be in
coming back.
all the championship games then.
He's 100%
the past 10 years.
gonna come back next year. But like,
How old is he? Didn't he say he wants to play until 45?
he turns 40. He turns 44, I think, this year.
Yeah, he does. He's already 43.
So, he's definitely gonna play next season. I just wonder if he'll play beyond. I hope not.
I mean, for the Bucks, they're the first team in NFL history to play a Super Bowl at home, so that'd be an advantage.
3 or 6-4, depending upon how it goes.
It's upsetting because all the rumors that came out of how close the Bears were to landing Brady.
You know, that's like a good thing. I'm glad that makes it seem like they're gonna be aggressive again this year, which they should be. But like, you know, one thing that bothers me about the Buccaneers, I like Bruce Arians, but lately he's been like really annoying. And he's like, you got Brady, and now he's acting like all strong and mighty. Like he was saying, "Oh, I let Tom Brady coach in New England. They wouldn't let him do that." It's like he's taking a shot at Bill Belichick, but Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. Like, obviously, Tom Brady right now.
Your point, but I think he's been. Your point, but I think he's taking a step back. I mean, as you said, he's letting the man do his thing. He's won 6 Super Bowls with Belichick. You're right, but he's letting him lead the team.
Mm-hmm. Letting him lead the team, and it's just like, why would you question the Patriot system? It's worked for 20 years. It's never a good idea.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, so the defense, Buccaneers defense, though, they did pretty damn good on Rodgers. They completely shut down the run game, for one. They picked off Rodgers. They sacked him a bunch of times. Vita Vea.
They got Vita Vea back, right?
Yeah.
How is he back?
I don't know.
Not only is he back, and then he played a lot, too.
Yeah, he was supposed to be limited in his snaps, but he played a majority of the game.
Like, they said, screw it, no limit for you.
With Vita Vea, the defensive line is a top 5 in the league, easily.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it won't... If they can pressure... I mean, they got a lot of pressure. If they can pressure in the Super Bowl like that... I know Mahomes is younger than Rodgers. He can probably make more happen. But Rodgers and Mahomes are basically the same, like, QB type. So it'll be hard for Mahomes this time.
So Mahomes can just chuck it to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the AFC then. So the Bills lost to the Chiefs 38-24, right? You know, I think both sides, the losing teams took bad field goals. I don't think McDermott's field goals were as bad, like 2 of them inside the 10-yard line. I don't think they were as bad as what's-his-face? As LaFraud.
Oh, Matt LaFraud.
But I do think, like, at least one of the 2 times, I said this about the Bears-Packers game the last week of the season, too, when Nagy kicked 2 field goals that were basically inside the 15. I said he should have gone for it at least once. McDermott should have gone for it at least once. You're going against an insane offense. You can't kick field goals 4 times. You have to start scoring more touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even if their defense was a very good defense, I mean, you can't trust your defense against a very high-powered Kansas City offense. I mean, you need touchdowns, not field goals.
Like, even the win probability charts, and the same thing with the NFC game, a lot of them were saying, oh, the decision to kick a field goal isn't actually that bad compared, like, the difference was like 2 or 3%, which isn't a lot. But those calculators, they don't take into the fact who you're playing on the other side. They don't take into effect, oh, you're playing Tom Brady. They don't take into the fact, oh, you're playing Patrick Mahomes. I get the idea. I want to just get the points when we can get the points. But you have to take risks. It's a problem with the NFL in general. Too many conservative coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen.
I'm looking at it. They had one where, let's see, it was a 20-yard field goal, so that was what, at like the 3-yard line.
2-yard line, yeah.
2-yard line. That would have, had they went for it, got a touchdown, would have made it 21-16 instead of 21-12. And then they kicked a 27-yarder, which was from, I think, 10-yard line or 11-yard line, somewhere around there. So those two, if they get touchdown on both of those instead of field goals, it's a much different game.
I mean, for Buffalo, I don't see why they didn't go for the one at the 2-yard line. You could easily use Josh Allen in a QB sneak. I mean, that's what they've been doing all year.
Or even like a drop.
He even had one.
Even that play that they did. Even that play that he does where you read
wild
option,
card, right?
He flips it like. They just 100% should have been more aggressive.
Yeah, like I said, you can't beat good teams playing conservative.
Josh Allen yesterday, he wasn't that good. He was okay. He had a couple of drop picks, and then he threw the one later in the game where I wouldn't say it was all his fault, but it was really, really tight.
I think the Bills will be back, personally. But right now, it seems like all the teams in the NFC, I mean, not in the NFC, in the AFC, are going to have to try and build to be better than the Chiefs. And I don't know how you can do that.
I mean, the Chiefs are definitely going to be the team to beat for the next 5 years or so, if not longer.
More than that. Like for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo has it all set. They just got to, build their defense a little stronger and pick up the offense a bit, their offensive line.
Buffalo isn't that far away. Well, I don't know if I would say that.
Maybe no.
Because
like a number 2 receiver, maybe.
Part of it is I want to say they're not that far away. They're not like they lost to them, but they didn't lose terribly. But at the same time, I feel like the Chiefs are gonna be like the Patriots were the past 20 years. They're gonna be in the Super Bowl at least every other year, and it's just gonna be so hard to beat them consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see either. I could see both sides. I wonder, but like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, it's like impossible. So
it really is, because like when you double team, you double team Tyreek Hill, they'll just throw it up to Kelce, and then if you double team Kelce, they'll just throw it up to Tyreek Hill. Kelce is literally just like a big-bodied wide receiver. It's impossible to stop him. To stop them.
Yeah, both ended with at least 9 receptions, over 100 receiving yards. Kelce had 2 touchdowns. I mean, as you said, the defenses basically have no chance against those two. If you double one, the other's going to be open. Especially against Tyreek. I mean, he has the speed advantage. Kelce has the size advantage.
I will say, weirdly, like, the Bills didn't seem to adjust, though, because they, a few of Hill and Kelce's catches, there was no linebacker in the middle of the field. You need to have a linebacker there to give yourself a chance. And then on the 4th down, if you've been watching the Chiefs all season, they've been doing the same 4th down pass into the flat if it's 4th and really short. They didn't cover the flat there. So teams need defensive play callers these days aren't quick to adjust as offensive play callers, but like that's why you saw like the rage with hiring young offensive guys a few years ago with McVay. Now that Staley got hired, the same thing's probably gonna, or at least a couple teams tried the same on the defense side. Like the Rams, the Bears are trying it. It'll be interesting to see if it actually works. I hope it does. So, if you want to stop Kelsey and Hill, you need to have a defense coordinator who's really good at disguising his coverages. If you can get, so like the Buccaneers, if they can get Mahomes to hesitate, they'll have a chance with their pass rush.
I mean, if you look at their previous matchup earlier this year with Tampa Bay, you think Todd Bowles did a good job with that? No, he didn't. Tyreek Hill burned them for 200 yards receiving in the first quarter. So, I mean, if they have a shot at winning and stopping Mahomes, they need to fix up that defense.
They're going to double team Tyreek Hill because he's the one who wrecked them last game. They're probably gonna shadow him with Davis, and they're gonna put Winfield over the top. So the question will be, can Levante David and Jermaine Whitehead do enough to deal with Kelsey? I want to say yes, but no one has stopped Kelsey all year.
Yeah, he had a career year.
Like my initial thoughts on the Super Bowl are like, I don't want to bet against either QB. One, like Brady just keeps proving the doubters wrong. Mahomes is just makes insane throws week after week. So right now, I have no idea.
Me neither, to be honest. The Chiefs are insane, and I'm not trying to bet against Brady. So, like you said, so I honestly have no idea what to do.
I mean, as much as I don't want to bet against Brady, I think I'm leaning a little towards, Kansas City. But, I mean, as you guys said, Tom is Tom in the Super Bowl.
I just hope, honestly, last year's Super Bowl wasn't bad, but I felt like it disappointed a little bit. Like, it could have been a better game. And then the one 2 years ago was terrible. So I'm hoping it's more.
No, the one last year was good. What are you talking about?
It was good, but it was like a normal game. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. I would hope.
Oh, it was a pretty decent, all right game.
I'm
more hoping for like.
Give me a shootout, honestly.
Yeah, something like the Eagles-Patriots game a few years ago. Give me something like that. Down to the wire, the last drive really matters, something like that.
Defense only shows up when they have defense only shows up when they absolutely have to.
Yeah.
People
meme going around. There's this meme going around that Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell making the playoffs without Big Ben.
Rip. See, people don't really like defensive battles. I would say the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when it was Rams-Patriots, it was a good defensive battle. Like, it wasn't the most entertaining defensive battle, but in general, people don't like defensive battles. They only like shootouts where the defense gets a bunch of takeaways randomly. Otherwise, they don't appreciate defense.
It's like a defensive battle when the Bears are playing, but if the Bears aren't playing, then I could give a damn about I could give a damn about defense if the Bears aren't playing.
I wonder if the Buccaneers are going to be able to run the ball on the Chiefs, because the Chiefs don't stop the run that well, but the Bills didn't run the ball at all. So,
same for Kansas City. Tampa Bay has Vita Vea back, so will they be able to run the ball is a question.
They probably won't run the ball at all. They'll probably run 10 times, throw it 40.
throw a 50
I
now.
won't blame them. I mean, it's
Yeah.
much
I mean, if I had
have
Mahomes, I'd throw.
if you don't have a
took the
great
ball
running attack, I mean, basically the Chiefs and the Bills are built the same. They don't have great rushing attacks. They're decent, or at least the Chiefs one is decent. The Bills literally have no run game at all, but they're still amazing. They're still amazing offenses because they're quarterbacks. So.
All right. Well, I think we've covered all of our talking points for today. One final thing before we sign off: the Cavs are still the best team in the league.
Oh my God! Here we go.
They lost by 40 to the Celtics.
All right, bro. That doesn't count. Okay, we were resting. We were resting our
Nets
players.
Games don't count either.
2-0, 2-0 against the Nets. 2-0 against the Nets.
The second game.
It's not my fault. He had to play 50 minutes the first game. All right, guys. Food for thought. Cavaliers to the finals.
Okay.
Till next time.
Delusion.